Okay, so super interesting to listen to Soren. I agree with everything you said, but one thing. And that was in the end. You said, and here you will get resistance. And that's just how it is. And I'm here to prove that we are the one creating resistance. We are leading in a way that makes people resist. And we can actually lead in a completely other way. And that is what we are going to talk about. So, from panic to progress, how to lead your organization when uncertainty accelerates. I'm going to give you not a solution, but a framework, a people, human needs framework that you can use for every change situation. You can actually use it every time you, as a leader, goes up on a stage and has some kind of message to your people. You can also use it in your one-to-ones, or in your team meetings, or when designing a full change process. Excited about that?
Yes.
Yes, cool. So, only one small problem. This keynote, me here on stage, 90 minutes, will not change anything. Why is that? Because I'm not good. No, I'm actually quite good at speaking. The problem is that passively consuming information, as you will do now, does not change anything. Just you sitting here passively listening, you will not learn that much, and you will actually not remember that much, and you will not be able to apply what you learned in your job as a leader. So, should we start with changing that?
Yes.
Yes. So, what do we know about our brain? We're very obsessed by this at Mentimeter because this is what our product is about. We know that you will remember what I talk about if you pay attention. If you actually work with it, think about it, like have your unique thoughts. If you feel something, a great way to feel something is actually to talk with someone. If you reflect yourself, and also if you share your reflection with someone else, and maybe even share your commitment. So that is what we're going to do. So I want you to make sure that you have one person to talk to during this my minutes here on stage. Say hello to that person now. Tell your name, what you work at. Perfect. Welcome back. Oh my God, that was it. Bye-bye. No. Okay, and hello. Okay, I'm going to use a very good method from now.
Well,
when I want your
welcome
attention.
to my world, Anna. This is usually how it is.
Yeah,
you get used to it.
When I want your attention back, I'm going to put my hand up, silent hand, and I'm going to keep quiet. When you see my hand, you also put your hand up, keep quiet, and then the silence will happen automatically. We do that next time. So you introduce yourself. I'm going to introduce myself, Anna, Chief People and Culture Officer at Mentimeter. I also wrote a book on facilitation. So this is really my deep knowledge. And I'm obsessed about how our brain works in learning, when it thinks, in social environments, and so on. And if you don't know about Menti, we're running a freemium product-led growth and motion. And we also have both self-service and enterprise revenue, 50-50 actually. Two great legs to stand on. So now you will talk. Talk to your person. What are you actually panicking about at the moment? At work, at home, in the world. What's your main panic? Yeah, you get a few minutes. If you were talking about work, probably speed, innovation, maybe employee engagement, efficiency, learning, maybe your business model, maybe your product market fit, maybe your go-to-market, maybe your one-way, maybe your margins. If you already are on a token-based model, probably your margins. So AI is basically disrupting us quite a lot as leaders right now. And that is what we're going to talk about. How can we drive change within all these areas where we need to drive change without having a lot of resistance? So, as I said, we like to take a scientific approach to change. So what do we know about humans? Our brain, that we have had now for 300,000 years. The same brain as we had on the savannah, living in tribes, but also the same brain, like the core of our brain, is like the dinosaur brain, reptile brain. What do we know about it? We know this. 5 things that our brain needs, fundamental human needs. We need to feel important, status. We need certainty, what's going to happen. We didn't need autonomy, to feel that we have a choice. We need relatedness, to feel that we are part, that we're belonging, we're safe, we're part of something bigger than ourselves. And we need fairness. Why do we need this? Because evolutionary, living in tribes, we've been trained, our brain has been trained to sense these things in a group. Because if we are rewarded on these needs, our chance to reproduce, getting kids, or actually avoid a fearful situation where we might die, would actually increase. One example, status. Tribe life. Of course, the king, or the higher up in the hierarchy you were in that tribe, of course, the chances that you will get a lot of a lot of kids, and you survive longer because you have people defending you. Basically, you're highest up in the hierarchy. So we want to understand, where am I in this hierarchy? Am I important? Certainty. We want to be able to predict the future. What's going to happen? So I can basically help my family, help myself to survive in whatever is going on. We want some autonomy to be able to save ourselves, sense of control over events. This is why we hate managing, basically, or leaders who micromanage us. We want relatedness, that we feel safe, because someone from another tribe, can I really trust them? Maybe they will stab me in the back. And if we think about it, from the moment we're born helpless. We can't do anything as humans without other people. And then fairness. We actually know, or our brain knows by now, that if there is a fair exchange of things, goods, weapons, food, we have a greater chance to survive. So this is basically hardwired in our brain. And it doesn't matter that we live in a safe information society. Our brain still thinks that it's out on the savannah and whatever can happen, basically. What research within neuroscience shows is that if we reward these needs, people will lean in with positive emotions, feeling curious, interested. I'm here, I have full brain capacity. But we also know that if these needs are threatened, we have this fight or flight response, where people will basically take a step back, or maybe actually fight, argue, resist, because these needs are not met. So what's happening now is that we have all these CEOs sitting there. Why don't they do what I tell them to do? And people go into like control and command mode. We're all stressed, we're all panicking, and then we start to control and command. And that will increase actually resistance. So human needs are not met if you're meeting a lot of resistance. So talk to the people or the person sitting next to you. How are you rewarding these needs in the change you are driving at the moment? These needs of your people. Discuss. One of the biggest challenges nowadays is uncertainty, because we can't remove it. So we need to work with it. We know that uncertainty is threatening, but we can't change the world around us. We can't change politics. We can't change what's going on. So that is why we need another approach to uncertainty. And here are 4 things that I really advise you to think about. So when uncertainty increases, we must live with the fundamentals. Things we already know about leadership. People need a clear vision, a clear direction, clarity in expectations. And also, you need to be 100% focused on your customers. Because when there's more output generated by AI in marketing, in code, we need to make sure as leaders that there's a clear direction. And that direction can only be formed if we deeply understand our customers, their pains, their needs, and their aspirations. Second, the process. When the solution is unknown, which it is, then we need to be super sharp with how we do things, our ways of working. When you can't create clarity in what you do, you can create clarity in the process that we will use to get there. Third, transparency. So what research shows is that when there is uncertainty, people want certainty. Actually, transparency helps. So let information flow. Make sure there's no hidden agendas. Invite people to the conversations. Make sure you really listen, that you respond authentically. And then the 4th one, bring people along. Because people support what they help shape. When you're not inviting people to your process, that is why you get resistance. Because autonomy is threatened. When you invite people, you will get buy-in, commitment, alignment. So you need to make sure that you co-create the future together with your employees. A few examples. This is a Menti, of course, that we run at our Kick the Year Off with a Bang. Making sure people at Menti, do we know our goals for the business 2026? Do we understand how the things we choose to do will help us reach our business goals? Do we understand our updated product and service offering and the value it will bring to our customers? And do we understand our key enablers that will help us, the ways of working that will help us to reach our goals? As you see, quite high numbers, but there is a spread here, and we have work to do. How many direct customer interactions per month did you participate in Q4? Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm swimming out of the, yeah. Okay, thank you. So, making sure that being customer obsessed, checking in with customers, understanding customers is high on the agenda all the time. We're checking in with our teams. Are you interacting with customers? This is a big problem for us. 66 people have not interacted with the customers. A lot of people in our product organization. So, transparency creates certainty in uncertainty. The best way you can do this is maybe the most simple way. Run more Q&As. Run more Ask Me Anything. Make sure you're available as a leader for people to vent and really ask the hard questions. Be there. Answer them. Create more certainty. And also, as a leader, don't be afraid that you don't have all the answers, because that helps you to build psychological safety. When you as a leader say, thank you for that question, I actually do not know. Or, thank you, that gave me a new perspective that I didn't know about. Or, thank you, I will dig deeper into that because that's interesting. Or, let's figure this out together. Or, this is how I feel as a leader in this change that we are in together. So, last thing, remember that we value what we build. That's why IKEA works. It's their whole business model. You just love your furniture because you built them yourself. And make sure that you look at the fundamentals to create more certainty in uncertainty. We already got this. You already know what great leadership looks like. Make sure you're not panicking and use it. Thank you.
Good for a couple questions. Guys, we have time for questions up here for Anna. Just raise your hand if you've got a question. We'll get the mic over to you. What questions do we have? I can't pick on Dave again.
Do we have, after
Right here.
you have a question?
Well, Anna, I mean, this is great framework, and we all know it takes time. If you are panicking about speed,
Yes.
you don't have time to talk to all these people, especially if they are very distributed.
Yeah.
So how do you do that in Mentimeter? How do you make sure that leaders have enough time to talk to everyone?
Thank you. I had the slide on it that I didn't have time to talk about. I think this is the problem. We try to be very speedy in the beginning. That's the upper thing. So we work with the strategy in the management team, and then we need to get it out, and then we just communicate it. And then we get a lot of mess afterwards, because people are not committed, they don't have buy-in, they don't understand, they were not part of the process, and it gets messy. So the advice is just to put a little bit more time into creating something before you launch it. Invite more people, the experts, the leaders. Make sure you bring them along with Mentimeter. You can do that. And then when you actually launch it or communicate it, you already have a lot of buy-in and commitment. And then the journey afterwards will have more speed. So it's just about don't think that you need to you need to be able to slow down to speed up later. I think that is how I would put it.
One more question. Raise your hand high. There we go.
Thanks. Thank you so much for this presentation. When the fundamentals are changing, what then do you do? Because I think we've had a long period where the fundamentals, we could get those in place, but I think for many with AI, that's changing too. Mm.
So what I mean with fundamentals are more like leadership fundamentals. A clear vision, a clear direction, a clear goal. You can still have clarity in that. And then if you can't have clarity in what we're going to do, you create clarity in the process, how we're doing it, the methods, the ways of working, and so on. So that would be my answer. Yeah.
Guys, again, give it up for Anna. Thank you.